So picture this, January 2026, the World Economic Forum in Davos, the big gathering of the global elite. And the surprise headliner is Elon Musk. This is a guy who had spent years, and I mean years, trashing the event. So his first ever appearance there had everyone asking one simple question. What on earth is he doing here?
And let's be super clear, he wasn't just some casual critic. No. Musk had called the forum boring. He called it an unelected world government. In his mind, it was the very symbol of the establishment he was supposed to be fighting against. So him deciding to grab the mic and take center stage, that was a huge signal that the game had completely changed. And this slide just lays it all out, doesn't it? On one side, you have Musk the outsider, the critic. On the other, he's the ultimate insider, sitting down for a cozy chat with the CEO of BlackRock, of all people. This wasn't just a casual visit. It was a strategic play. He didn't come to Davos to criticize. He came to present a detailed and, frankly, a world-altering roadmap for all of our futures.
He kicked things off by tackling the one topic on everybody's mind, artificial intelligence. But his take wasn't just some minor update. Oh, no. It was a complete and total demolition of the timeline everyone thought they understood.
And he drops his first bombshell. He predicts that by early 2027, so basically just around the corner, an AI will exist that is smarter than any single human being. Just pause and think about that for a second. We're not talking about an AI that's good at chess or can write code. We're talking about something more intelligent than the most brilliant physicist, the most creative artist, or the sharpest military strategist on the planet. This means artificial general intelligence, or AGI, goes from being some distant sci-fi idea to an immediate pressing reality.
But he wasn't done, not even close. Right after that, he makes an even bigger prediction. By 2031, just 5 years from now, AI will surpass the collective intelligence of all humanity combined. I mean, think about that. The sum total of every thought, every idea, every bit of creativity from every human who has ever lived, all of it eclipsed by a machine. Okay, so just to put this into perspective, look at this table. It shows you just how radical his new timeline really is. Before he got on that stage, the general thinking was that AI might match a single human sometime around 2030, and maybe all of humanity by 2045 if we were lucky. Musk just took that entire forecast, crumpled it up, and compressed it into the next 5 years. His message to all the world leaders listening was crystal clear. Stop thinking about this as a problem for your grandkids. Start treating it like it's happening tomorrow. So once he's established this new, terrifyingly fast AI timeline, he immediately connects that superintelligent AI to the physical world, explaining how it's going to fundamentally reshape our entire economy through robotics. And get this, he lays out this incredibly aggressive schedule for the Tesla Optimus robot. He revealed that at that very moment, in January 2026, they were already doing simple jobs inside Tesla factories. By the end of that year, they'd be handling complex tasks. And then the kicker, by the end of 2027, you and I will be able to buy one. This isn't some 10-year plan. This is happening right now, going from a lab prototype to a mass market product in just a few years.
And what does all of this lead to? Well, according to Musk, it leads to a complete rewrite of economics as we know it. He actually proposed a new formula for GDP. Forget human labor. He argued that in the very near future, a country's economic output is just going to be the average productivity of a robot multiplied by how many robots you have. Human labor basically becomes a rounding error in the global economy.
The implications here are just, wow, absolutely staggering. He's talking about a future where humanoid robots eventually outnumber people. This, he claimed, is how you solve the demographic crisis that so many countries are facing. You'll have robots to care for the elderly. It creates what he calls a post-work society, a world of sustainable abundance, where everything we need is basically free because labor costs nothing. And for him, this isn't some wild utopian dream. He claims it is the only realistic way to actually eliminate poverty on a global scale. Okay, so you've got this exponential growth in AI and robots. What's the catch? What's the limiting factor? Well, Musk then unveiled the most audacious and maybe the most futuristic part of his entire plan, revealing his solution to the single biggest thing holding AI back. He posed this simple question to everyone in the room. Now, for years, pretty much everyone assumed the answer was about computing power, right? It was all about getting more and better chips. But Musk's answer was totally different. The real bottleneck, he said, isn't silicon, it's electricity. He explained that our ability to make chips is growing exponentially, but our ability to generate power is only growing linearly by just a few % a year.
He warned that pretty soon we're going to be making more supercomputer chips than we can possibly plug into the grid. The race for AI dominance, he said, is really a race for energy.
So where do you find a near infinite source of energy? Musk's answer? You go to space. He laid out 3 dead simple engineering reasons why orbit is the only logical place for the AI data centers of the future. First, you get nonstop solar power, which is about 5 times more efficient up there than it is on the ground. Second, you completely solve the massive cooling problem these things have by just radiating the heat out into the freezing vacuum of deep space. And third, you can create the ultimate low latency network, connecting that massive AI brain to any point on the planet instantly.
Now, of course, this whole crazy plan, this entire space-based AI future, it only works because of one thing: cheap access to orbit. And that's where Starship comes in. He hammered home the point that its full reusability is designed to slash the cost of getting stuff into space by a factor of 100, which is what makes building this kind of massive industrial complex in orbit even remotely possible from an economic standpoint.
So you put all these pieces together, the AI, the robots, the space data centers. What do you get? You get a whole new worldview. You get what we can call the Musk doctrine. And it's the grand bargain he offered to all the leaders at Davos. And you have to remember the context here. By 2026, Musk wasn't just another CEO. He had been advising the US government on efficiency, basically turning him into a kind of quasi-statesman. I mean, he was comfortable enough on that Davos stage to crack jokes about America's strategic interests in places like Greenland and Venezuela. It showed how his own corporate goals and America's national interests were starting to become one and the same.
And this really brings us to the core of his message, the Musk doctrine in a nutshell. He was basically presenting the global elite with a deal, a grand bargain. He was saying, look, this path of accelerating AI and building a robotic workforce, yes, it comes with immense, maybe even existential risks. I get it. But the payoff, he argued, is a future totally free from poverty and scarcity, a civilization of absolute abundance. The choice he presented wasn't between being safe or being risky, but between stagnating as a species or transcending our limits. And he wrapped up his entire philosophy with this one killer line. He said, it's better to be an optimist and wrong than a pessimist and right. He was acknowledging the dangers, but arguing that for your own quality of life and for the future of humanity, it is so much better to shoot for an amazing future and fall a little short than it is to just assume the worst and then be proven correct. And I mean, it was so powerful that BlackRock CEO Larry Fink used that exact quote to close out the entire World Economic Forum. And that leaves us with the ultimate question, doesn't it? In that single talk at Davos, Musk laid out this comprehensive, highly technical, and just astonishingly ambitious plan for the next decade. The question he left hanging in the air is one we all have to answer for ourselves. Is this the blueprint for saving civilization, or is it a reckless gamble with stakes that are just too high to even comprehend?